talked about the vision and mission yesterday being weak, but actually the values, Stella Maris is very much a values-led organisation. We're very naturally very strong in our feelings and our passion for Stella Maris, and that's derived by our strong values within Stella Maris. But values are really important for us as an organisation. They define how we do that mission. Without those strong values, core to Stella Maris, we haven't got that strong mission, and we haven't got that strong vision in turn. But we're quite lucky, like I said, we're quite lucky that all the research shows that we've got a lot of strong, passionate values within Stella Maris that we can use to help grow and develop that mission. And part of that is that those values help to create that culture across the world. It means that you know as a chaplain here in Asia that you have the same tenets, the same beliefs as a chaplain in South America or Europe. And that commonality is what makes a strong network. And that culture will transcend across the world. So from a beneficiary's point of view, they know when they visit a Stella Maris centre, the reception they'll get because the culture and the values of Stella Maris around the world are going to be the same. So it's that framework and those ideals that help us make those decisions. How do we measure our activities and what we do? And we use those values. We use our values to think, is this the right thing to do for Stella Maris? Is this the right thing for me to do in the work that I do? Is this the right direction? So they're very important. So the first thing we want to do is look at those values. And the second exercise is how do we show those values? And we do that through behaviours. The behaviours we assign to each of those values is how we are what's the word I'm looking for? Accountable to those values. There's no use having a value up there without us being accountable to it. And those behaviours and those common behaviours is how we're accountable to one another as well. So having a strong value, we can show that strong value by having clear behaviours underneath it as well. So we're going to split the group into two. First one is the first part of the exercise. I want both teams to look at 5 values they think represent Stella Maris. There's core tenets and values that represent Stella Maris. And then afterwards, what we'll do is swap over the papers, and we'll ask the other group to put behaviours behind them. So the first part is looking at what are those core values to Stella Maris, what makes Stella Maris special. And then the second activity there will be looking at how are we going to demonstrate those values through our behaviours to Stella Maris. So, I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. So if we split down the middle, one group here, one group there. If you want to go to 2 tables, and like I said, what I want you to do is discuss what you feel are those core values and tenets of Stella Maris, and pick the top 5 you think represent us as a network. Clear? Good, right. So there's 2 tables, and I'll get some pen and paper. Who are we missing? Sister, right. Can I have a volunteer from this side? Well volunteered, thank you. And a volunteer from this side, Father, anyway. So do you want to just explain your group's thinking, what led you to come up with the 5 values? Yours were these 5, weren't they? Yours were these 5, weren't they? Yeah, so can you explain to the other group how you came up with these 5 groups?
Well, they just came out before you had the writing. explain?
To explain the 5 values, how did you come up with those 5 values?
Okay. At first, actually, we have the lights. The father said, and then somebody commented, so he said, okay, we will use the Stella, not the lights. So, because the lights, we have the service and everything, so we have this one. Instead of having 2L, we only have 1. So we have the service, trustworthy, empowerment, loving, and accountability.
So let's dive a bit deeper. Explain how is service a core value to Stella Rise?
I think Father John. He is the chaplain, so he can really expound. It's his job. Come on, Father.
Group.
This is ours.
Yeah, I'm here seeing it because Apinia is having a
Apinia.
hard time.
So explain
So we just use the acronym Stella because we belong to Stella Maris. So and then we put some meaning of each word Stella. So Stella, of course, because our primary role is to serve. So that's why we put service. Okay? And then, of course, we need also to be trustworthy because that's an issue of the past and also of the present, perhaps, of trustworthiness. We should always be honest in dealing with our clientele. So, and of course, with the whole organization. So that's why we need to be trustworthy. So can we now be trusted by our Stella Maris UK or Vatican? Question. That needs an answer. Of course, Stella. E stands for empowerment. So empowerment for us is value, no?
That's cheating. You've just made a circle. You said empowerment is a value, and our value is empowerment. You've cheated. You've not explained. You've not explained.
I have not yet explained. So empowerment for us is, how do you define that?
Another one.
How do you define that? Because we will empower.
When I bonding the vessel to visit, it's very easy more than inviting. Because when we pay visit for the seafarer, when we bonding, first we be open and open mind. Sometimes the seafarer cannot talk with us, but they trust us. They respect people from the Stella Maris office. And then when we saw somebody, they cannot talk sometimes, but we listening the thing that they don't say. They don't say the words. We by experience we saw the eyes maybe have something to tell, have something to speak, but they cannot in that time. So we empowerment him. Okay, if you maybe you cannot talk with me now, maybe we can talk later. I give you my name card. If you need me, you just call me and add me in Facebook, in all social media or something, and they add and then
I'm enjoying this.
it's still empowerment. Yes, and then they will add us and we tell the story. When bonding the vessel, we work like this, but when I think I don't know how to write it.
So
So
actually we are
just before we go empowerment.
we are imagining the descent of the Holy Spirit upon the apostles. We're empowered. So we have the courage. We're encouraged to serve. We're encouraged to provide pastoral care and service to the people of the city. And then
Wait. We're not finished on empowerment yet.
Not yet.
Okay, go.
So for empowerment, then there's two sides to that value, isn't there? There's the empowerment of the beneficiary, but there's also the empowerment of you.
Yeah.
So from Stella
Of the
Maris,
pastoral workers. Huh?
by being part of Stella Maris, the value you derive, you as chaplains derive from it is empowering yourself. The empowerment to be able to go out and help.
Yes.
But you're talking about the empowerment of others. Your value for you is empowering the seafarers.
Yes.
It's very interesting. There's two different sides
Empowerment,
to it.
both of us, because when we saw they are smiling and they are happy, we are happy also. Empowerment me also.
So I think two sides. Two.
Well, I'll let you go with nothing. Nothing.
It's come
Oh,
for the
love.
Loving.
This is loving.
Why love? Why loving?
Yeah, because they said we are burdened with so many works from the parishes and everything, but even if we are very tired, even if we're sleepy, if somebody calls up for some help, we are there to help them. So this is one way of expression of being a loving and loving the seekers, the service.
Okay.
Okay.
Accountability.
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 So this is the reality.
Yeah, accountability is, of course, we are given the task, we are given the mission, no? We are given an appointment to do this particular task, and we should become responsible in responsible, no?
Accountable.
Doble na. We should be responsible in exercising also, no, our duties and responsibilities, I think. And of course, when it involves for example, funds, money, so we should always be transparent and report and Father Mark, what is the word you are using? This accountability?
Using the funds wisely.
The funds wisely. Oh, see, that's it.
Resources.
So that represents Stella.
So on the accountability, well, you described behaviours to represent it, but you're saying that's accountability is a core value of Stella Maris. So people see us
Yes.
and they recognise you as being from Stella Maris
Yes.
by your accountability.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, Father Edwin.
Yes.
Good luck. So that was the values.
Just only 5 words.
Do you want to explain?
So how about another Maris? So to belong.
So your group then looked at the behaviours behind each of these values. So do you want to talk through how you came up with the behaviours to represent
Yes,
that?
sure. Okay, as the core values of Stella Maris that has been defined by the previous group through Stella, the service is provided through sacraments and pastoral care. The sacraments is normally done by priests, ordained ministers, but we have lay volunteers, we have religious, and so the pastoral care is being delivered through the service is delivered through the pastoral care. And of course, pastoral care is coming through different ways, not only the liturgies, but also like visiting them. And then there is also the giving of assistance that comes also in various forms, like legal assistance, medical assistance, other assistance. And then the service can also come through formation, giving formation to the families and fishermen and seafarers themselves. So the service itself actually is provided by Stella Maris through these 3 ways. As to the trustworthy of the Stella Maris as a core group, the Stella Maris is committed, has the commitment to do what we should do, and that is actually connected also even with the with the trustworthy, with the accountability. So commitment means that that's what some of the members have said, that they have to go to the ship and visit them when it is necessary. When somebody calls them, they have to go there. So there is that particular commitment. Rain or shine, we have to go, or we have to visit them. The witnessing of the faith is also an expression of trustworthiness. Like we deliver the word of God. So if we deliver the word of God, it's almost equated like, oh, they are very religious, very spiritual. So since they are wearing the veils, wearing the Roman collar, oh, they must be trusted. So the clothes we wear, the names we carry as Stella Maris is in itself already like an ID, an identification of that can be trusted. And then our transparency. So we also witness being transparent. Of course, even for the clothes that we wear, so it's enough actually to be transparent. There is already that projection that we can be trusted.
So before you go on, so that the transparency, trustworthy, can you turn that into a statement for me? So I demonstrate I'm trustworthy by.
I witness transparency. Example, lifeline. I have to give.
Start with that statement. I demonstrate I am trustworthy
by being transparent also with our witnessing to them.
So how is that? Okay, let's.
How
I'm
did
trying to unpick.
I couldn't remember what we had discussed on the transparency part. Oh, anyway, yeah, you're right. You should have put it into a statement. Anyway,
so with the witnessing of faith, there's a danger there that it becomes again that we're using somebody's trust in their faith to trust us, but it's also the other side as well, that we need to demonstrate that we're trustworthy to support the church as well. You cannot use the name of the good name of Stella Maris, the good name of the church, as an evidence of being trustworthy in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's exactly the point, that we have to be transparent by, for instance, if we're using the car that has been entrusted for the service of the Stella Maris, it should not be used for other services, things like that. That is transparency. Is it okay? Empowerment. We train volunteers so that they can be empowered, because not all the time that we are there present. So training volunteers is one way actually of empowering us or empowering our people, our volunteers. Delegation of tasks and responsibility is another way of empowering them. But most of all, the trust that we give to our colleagues in acting for the service when we are not available as chaplains is also very empowering. And I think that Stella Maris had witnessed that by encouraging more people to attend and train people for the service of the seafarers.
Can I just ask this side? You came up with those values, and when you described them, it's interesting that you mentioned Stella Maris empowering you to fulfill your mission, but also empowering the seafarer. So it's interesting that this team, this group have interpreted it very differently. So I just want to know, is there any comments from this side about when you were putting it together, did you have any thoughts about any behaviours that are different to this group, bearing in mind you came at it in a very different way?
They might have interpreted it differently from what we get.
I think it's very interesting that two groups have interpreted it very differently.
We've interpreted as we were asked to do through the chaplains act.
May I?
Yes, the system.
When we talked about empowerment during our discussion, the empowerment of the beneficiaries goes with the formation. The formation in the service side.
So that was your distinction, is that
Yes.
what Abinia spoke about, the Stella Maris empowering the seafarer, you've put towards the service. You've interpreted that to be a service-based behaviour and service-based value. And then the empowerment, you've taken to be purely about the empowerment of
Volunteer.
the organisation.
But also we talk also about empowering also the seafarers, not only the fishermen, not only us, but not only the volunteers, but even for the fishermen and the seafarers, by giving them training, by giving them formation. For instance, if you provide financial literacy program to the seafarers, that can be an empowering way of how to deal with managing their funds. Okay? Loving, which is very, very basic, providing hospitality. We welcome them. We visit them. We provide them places of relaxation, places of recreation. That is how we interpreted the loving and the answer of loving.
So as a statement then, I show that I love. I show that the value of love through providing
hospitality. And then driving them by giving transportation means is also one way of loving them. We don't know them, and yet when they ask for a transport vehicle to be transported from the docks to the shopping center is an expression indeed for that we are loving them. We don't know them. And when we visit and listen to their stories is also a manifestation of our love. We try to be very patient. Yeah.
So I don't disagree with that, but I will playing devil's advocate. If you're looking at then, if we are using these behaviours to measure our success, are you saying so long as we provide somewhere for them to rest, that so long as we are providing transport, and so long as we listen, we are fulfilling our mission?
No, that's just a minimum actually. There are more than that. There are so many things to do expressing love. Visiting their families because of their absence is also one way. Actually, providing empowerment instruments also is an expression of loving. It's not just about this. It can be extended over this empowerment, over the services.
And the last one,
Accountability. Yes, I think we have shared the same.
Yeah.
So when we were submitting reports to the concerned authority is one way of being accountable. Like we're supposed to provide reports to our local ordinary if we happen to be the national director, or then to the diocesan director. If we have to be the national director, then we have to provide report to the bishops' conference, and then things like that according to the hierarchical structure. Submitting reports also is being required to funding agencies. There are projects sometimes that are being offered to Stella Maris, and we have to be trustworthy. We have to be transparent. and we have to be. This is one way, and another way is we have to be prompt in responding to. Responding. We have to be prompt also in giving reports. We have also to be prompt in responding to the needs of the seafarers and their families. For instance, solving cases. A ship have sunk, and there is a request from the families to help them. We have to be prompt in attending to such a case because we love them. And I think that is one way of being accountable, because probably they cannot trust much the government service, so they come to us. So actually, it's really all connected. No? Like when we talk about connectivity, Stella Maris normally would call, for instance, if the boat or the ship have the accident, for instance, happened in Japan, then most likely Philippines would contact Japan and ask for help, because they need to respond promptly to the beneficiaries of the family or the families. And then most importantly also, being accountable is to openness to audit reports. But actually in the Philippines, and most likely even in countries that are really advanced in terms of financial reports, they have to be audited all the time. So reports. In the Philippines, there is the Security and Exchange Commission that requires an audited report to
It's a must.
the concerns of the authorities. This is how
It's a
it goes.
must, really.
If we miss something, we miss something.
Yeah, it's a must, really,
Yeah,
in the
this is a
report.
must.
Otherwise, it will be revoked. Revocation.
It's also, I think, it reinforces that transparency as well.
Yes.
There's synergy there. Quick question for those who made the behaviours. I should have asked it earlier. Any thoughts on the values that were chosen by the other group? Any that you questioned? Any that you thought we should have used? No? Right. Father, I think you've done well. You sit there. You want to sit down. But you need to choose another person from your group to come up instead. Sorry.
I just want to add a little about what Father Edwin said when he says about the connectivity. There's a connection, even if you don't mention it. It's like automatic now, because when you were talking about empowerment in the group of Father John, talking about empowerment it's the beneficiaries, right, Father John? And then Father Edwin was explaining empowerment, giving training to our volunteers, giving the trust to our police. It's interesting because how can we see the connection between that? We train our volunteers not for themselves, but for the mission. At the end, empowering our volunteers is empowering our seafarers, which is something that they focus more. But there is a connection with that, and as well as the loving explanation that they did. Mrs. Kinder's explanation with what Father Edwin said. So I think it's interesting to see that.
I put the empowerment because I face so many problems with our work with the seafarers. When the seafarer was forced to do illegal to transshipment the illegal good, when the seafarer asked me, I need empowerment because of they forced to do illegal works. They say the ship owner asked one container to Haiphong, Vietnam, and then illegal transshipment by the block 1,000 transshipment at sea. It means I was afraid I will put in the jail. And then some vessel illegal transfer the petrol, the diesel in the deep sea. Some vessel transfer all goods to Shanghai. It's all illegal, and the seafarer was forced to do this. And see, Mom, from Stella, we need empowerment. What we will do now? So we need to teach them, to counseling them, to trauma support, to trauma-informed health, something we just talk with them. And then after that, they have so many problems. Sometimes during the different nationality, they keep fighting. India fighting with Bangladesh, they also need empowerment. And sometimes they have discrimination. All Chinese vessel, Chinese tuna vessel, they have representative of the ship owner on board, and they ask the ship engineer, ship officer to stay in the I don't know what to say. The cabin from the AB or OS, but give the OS to the big room of the ship engineer. This is discrimination, and we cannot accept. So we empowerment that if you come to my Thai water, I will handle the
So,
case. Like this.
turn that into a behaviour you would like to see.
Yeah.
So I demonstrate empowering seafarers
Yes.
by.
So they also empowering us, because if I don't have empowerment,
Yeah, but-
I will not.
But how do we show that as a behaviour? So how do we show that we are empowering? Turn it into a statement. I demonstrate the value of empowerment to seafarers by what do we do?
Because if they're following problem,
Training, education.
Training by providing them with training,
Education.
support,
Support.
a voice. So
And
and then we call to some problems.
Paolo, sorry.
I personally, I'm not an English speaking guy, all right? Like some of us, It took me time to understand the word empowering, which now honestly, I love it. Because something like this, guys, knowledge is power. Now, if I have no knowledge, I doubt very much that I can demonstrate whatever to whoever on the matter. The seafarers, fishers, we in the Philippines, I guess, the families, they come to us. How much can I empower he or she? I can, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I can only empower if I know. Now, if my knowledge is limited, that is what the richness of this training. Thank you guys, you are empowering us on a few things. But then you and I go home, you and I go to the center, we have different challenges there, like whatever. We go home next week, life goes on exactly the same. But to me, this is crucial. Knowledge is power. I will never ever help a seafarer who is in trouble if I have no idea of legislation, if I have no idea of family problems, if I have no idea of government, and then the list can become so long. But to me, as Stella Maris, we have to empower ourselves. As a consequence, I empower something like this. I empower my beneficiary. Because he or she will understand that Father Paulo has no idea. Thank you very much, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And they will say, Stella Maris, hablan cuenta doon, they know nothing. So I guess a challenge personally, that I do feel that we should be empowered. When we say we have no training, to me it sounds like we are not empowered. And we repeat what we have learned from being a priest, being a sister, or being a lay person. Is that enough for us to empower the beneficiary? I'm not so sure.
So So we can add to this, can't we? Not just training volunteers, but ourselves. And making sure we have the skills to help others.
For me, I begin with myself, and then I will not give what I don't know anyway.
Can I have 2 more big volunteers, not victims, volunteers? Somebody from this group to talk about the core values that you came up with, and then somebody to talk through the behaviours you came up with. So who's going to go through this list of values? Some really interesting ones here, and I want to talk through how you came up with them and how you got it down to 5. I'm going to start picking volunteers in a minute. Well volunteers. Father? Yeah.
Very
Well
good.
volunteers. Talk through these values.
It's reluctant.
He has to be empowered.
I'm
Well,
trying my best to empower him.
Actually, during the sharing, I was just listening to them.
So you've taken
But,
more knowledge and you're ready to tell us. Perfect. And
But
before you start, somebody from the other group who came up with the behaviours to talk through this slide. There's lots of finger pointing. Who did the writing? Well volunteered. Well volunteered. Oh, sister, even better. Well volunteered, sister. Thank you. So you want to talk through your list?
Okay. The proceedings was that everyone was asked, what do you think are the core values for Stella Maris? And then just give their opinions and so on and so forth. And we come up with this because we believe that hospitality is a core value and it's very important in our work as chaplain or lay worker. And then connectivity, we need to be connected with everyone so that we can support one another. For example, if there is a problem in one center, you can ask help from the other center. Connectivity. Integrity. Of course, that's very important because as worker, especially as a priest, if you are not, how can you earn respect if you do not have integrity? Sincerity, honesty is very much connected with this. Inclusivity, because we do not exclude. Everybody is welcome. When we give, support or help, because there is a disaster or whatever needs you want, we include everybody. And then commitment. We've been talking about loving, we've been talking about service, but if you are not committed, how can we sustain the work of Stella Maris? Accountability. Of course, we are given the task by an authority, and I am accountable before that authority, and most of all before God. Praise God, amen. Faith witnessing, of course, we have to walk the talk and talk the walk. Thank you. Oh.
A couple of questions first before you go away. How do we say this? How is faith witnessing a value in the setting? Can you unpack that for me? This is what I'm struggling with. Faith as a value. Do you mean faith as a value, or do you mean the witnessing of it? How are you defining what this is?
Well, a priest and everyone can live a double standard life. But witnessing is, and that's why witnessing is very important. I have to be faithful to my commitment, to my service, to the church, and to the people entrusted to my care. Otherwise, if I say something and do the other thing, it's difficult. Christ will be, and he will say to me, woe to you.
And how did you go from the 8 to the 5? Why did you choose those 5?
Well, when you say that we have to choose 5 among the 8 core values, Father Ed said that we have to vote. But actually, we do not vote.
So,
It was
core value of democracy was not there.
It was a consensus, no? Because many of us said that I think we have to choose the first 2 and the last 3.
Yeah.
Because these other things can also be included in all this. For example, faith witnessing, hospitality, inclusivity. Diba? Hospitality is for everyone, not only for few persons.
Don't go away, might need you later. So, of those 5 and those 8, any thoughts from this side, from this team about the 8 that were chosen? Or the 5 that were chosen? Are there any of those values that you think you wish you to have chosen? Right. No. So you're not questioning the choice of the 5 out of the 8. Okay. Sister, do you want to explain then
Yes.
the behaviours you put against those 5?
Okay, so when we started work, we were given this list, 8, and then John told us to answer the 5 core values only. So here, for hospitality, we said we can express our hospitality by welcoming seafarers, the fishers, and their families. And then by providing accommodation, as there is a saying, home away from home for seafarers. And then by establishing friendship with them. There is a very common slogan in Stella Marie's office here in UN Avenue, which says, there is no stranger here, but only friends we just met. So maybe it will explain this. And then for connectivity,
To hold you back there, so that those. What I like about those is that can you see how we can demonstrate by living those behaviours, we can clearly demonstrate the value of our hospitality, and that strength of those behaviours helping us reach our values, helps us reach our mission and our vision. So can you see how it forms up by having a strong behaviours helps with a strong answer a strong value.
all come in.
Sorry, connectivity.
Connectivity now by communication, by dialogue, and by listening. And then commitment by wholehearted sharing of our time, talent, and treasures. We hear this very commonly in parishes and in offices. Then the next, accountability by becoming responsible to our mission, by using our resources wisely, and by keeping records. Connected with the being responsible to being responsible to what is by the resources that is given to us.
And then the faith witnessing is by providing sacramental and spiritual needs of the seafarers and their families.
Thank you very much. Just from this side, when you put those values together, I think it's interesting, your focus was more on the connectivity between Stella Maris, whereas you've interpreted it with connectivity for the seafarer. Again, it's quite interesting you've taken that different interpretation. So based on that, what would your behaviour be for the connectivity within Stella Maris?
Customers.
Yeah.
I think our strength is in.
Turn it around into a statement. I demonstrate our value of connectivity.
Well, I can demonstrate our value of connectivity by an email that I got yesterday, because I said to Paolo.
That's not a behaviour. Demonstrate it as a behaviour. So coming back there, connectivity, I demonstrate
Communication.
through communication to colleagues.
Well, you could add that, but communication.
Okay, is there a risk?
Are you ready? Who is the one who starts? Hey, take the marker. The first one, take the marker in your hand.
Yes.
There, you have it. Silence.
Maybe one here.
1, go. Change. 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 Fantastico, bravi, bravi, bravi. Ottimo, ottimo.
But we needed 8 seconds.
And that group cheated a little.
Again, please, someone that helps me understanding what is this.
It's one of the merienda.
It's a cake.
Inspired by the merienda.
So, Doug, what is this?
That's a hill far away, stood an old rugged cross. That's Christ on the cross. And this is, of course, the hill. We were going to get another cross here and another cross there.
Stay.
So the Golgotha.
So this is the Golgotha. Okay. Tell me, how was the proceedings in the room? Who started with what?
Oh, now you're asking. I think we started off with this, and then we went down here,
Okay.
and then someone went all the way around,
Okay.
and it just grew. It just grew.
The cross.
Who put the cross? You. Thank you. Thank you very much. Easy enough.
Thank you.
This group. Come.
Because
Very.
because I'm the one who started it. So I am the one who started the half circle, then followed by also half. Then the other one put something. This is an eyes, then hair, then this is a mouth. Then somebody put, maybe this is hands. Then I put another hand. So maybe this is a person.
Maybe.
Maybe, for sure. Thank you.
The thing is that we really do not know what's the outcome of the drawing when they started it, so I was the third. I thought that it's like a head, so I put a mouth. But Monsignor is put a star, and then the other, and another one. So it looks like a head. So they will just continue a hair and then a heart like that. But we did not really agree as to what we are going to draw.
Yes. Because we did not communicate.
You can't agree because you don't have time.
Yes.
And plus, I told you not to speak.
Yes.
So,
That's why we follow
otherwise,
you.
no dinner. This group. You started opinion, this group.
I start with the heart.
With the heart.
That's the logo. The logo of Stella Values, and I mean is listen with the heart.
And the others continue.
Yes.
If you want to understand values, this is enough. Why? This one is the most close to us, to all of us, okay? Because this is more or less Stella Maris logo,
Yes.
okay? Why this group managed to achieve something? And because I guess that all the others started, and if I would have given more time, would have continued on the same line. Because Apiña started with one symbol, powerful, a heart. Heart speaks to all of us. It's a real, I mean, it's one of the symbols in our life. Why? Because to this symbol there are attached values. Okay? And immediately in such a group, the others pick up. Immediately. They saw the heart, they continue with the lifesaver, with the cross, with the point to put the beneficiary below. Values are calling us and are gluing us. The other two groups, they didn't follow this, let's say, rule. Okay? But somehow, and again something interesting, I appreciated your attempt because it's good. No? But in fact, it could be the goal. Three heels, okay? One cross, etc. Again, we are talking about something that belongs and links all of us. Okay? Because when you start, again, if I would have left more time, probably some others would have come up with other symbols. The symbols of the passion. Passion is a value. The symbol of the sacrifice. Sacrifice is a value. Okay? This group has struggled for one single reason, because I did many times this is amazing, this so simple, so stupid, but so effective. Why? When you start with something round, you are ruined. Because it's another symbol, it's another important symbol, but it's a symbol of openness. Okay? That is again a value, but is not attached to something concrete. It is very, how to say, there is a term but I don't remember. It's very intangible, no? It reflects something cosmic, okay? So you need time to understand how to use that symbol. And in fact, but then they managed. Okay, they didn't produce anything powerful like this tool, powerful for this group. But anyway, they managed. And for me, it doesn't look like a person. It looks like a duck. Something like this, no more. But it doesn't matter. I know that here in Asia, ducks are very well appreciated. So you know, the egg duck. So there is all, but you see, there is always something behind us that recall us, because we speak and we feel and we experience life in the same way. Sometimes we have the same symbols, and sometimes when someone is clever, okay. For instance, in a group of religious, I would immediately start with the cross, as Apina started with the heart, because there is basic symbols in our life, okay, and we all understand. Then there is nuances. No? Then you can do whatever with the cross. You can do the symbol, you can do the church, you can do, and everything comes easy. Okay, so whenever we start, and this is also important in our work, because when we start any relationship with foreigners, unknown people, we should also follow this line, trying to find a connection with the values. We are humans, even the different religions, it doesn't matter. Apina before was saying something. They say, even if I don't speak, I speak with the eyes. Okay? I listen. I try to get in contact. Exactly. We get in contact through values. Okay? And you shouldn't bargain our values. It's important when you say accountability, transparency, honesty is this. We are not. I mean, you are working and operating, let's say, and living in an environment that is not much friendly. No, in Philippines, yes, but in other countries where the Catholic Church is a minority, it's difficult because you are a minority. You can also always be appointed like someone that is poisoning the traditions and the culture, or someone that want sneaky with the God. So, but if we are ourselves, and if we defend our integrity, we can enter in contact with anyone, for any religious, for any space, not talking the same language, because there are symbols that are helping us. Okay? So, thank you very much. I think that the outcome was very, very successful, and think about it, okay? Because values are picklocks, or passwords, or keywords to enter in contact with the others. Questions or interpretation or inputs that you want to share? No, okay. You can also say no. We need to do, because again, now you understood. Now the issue. We are not here to teach anyone. We are here to understand each other better and to contribute to each other knowledge. This is the reason why we are here. Okay. No one is more clever than the others. No one knows more than the others. We are all peers. Okay. So, but with this in mind, with this simplicity in mind, okay, I will ask you to, because remember, one of the goals of this session is to test. because some test the same content that we did also in the other part to see how is the reaction. I'm sorry, has to be done. Okay. If it would for me, we could even go and play ping pong or having a stroll or whatever. But let's sacrifice, since sacrifice is a value. Okay. The last two things, again, two groups, mission and vision. Okay. But be simple. Okay. We do like this. One group will do the mission. What is a mission? We have to write a mission statement. It has to be very simple. Okay? Very simple. What are you doing? For who and why? Just this. Okay? Mission statement. We are Stella Maris. We do this in this way. Okay? Very simple. The other group does the vision. The vision is different from the mission. The mission is now, what we do now. Okay? The vision is what we want to do in 20 years time. Okay? So, the group that work on mission say, now we are doing this for this purpose with these people. Okay? Just three answers to the three questions. The other one, no. The other one project themselves in 2035. I want you, the group, I don't know which group will decide to do the vision. I want you to think about 2035 and to say, like as you were in 2035, to write, today we achieved this, starting from that point, and we managed to achieve this goal. Okay? But simple, I don't want the Bible. I don't care about the how beauty it is, how correct it is, grammarly, etc. No. Something that gives the group something to project and to see if they merge, because then we can say, but what we are doing now, it doesn't match very much. Then we can discuss about what we are doing. Is it effective to achieve those goals in 2035? I give you just 13 years, not 30, 13.
The advantage is no more headaches.
The ships are already flying the night, sailing without human.
Let go.
The airplanes will be flying without
Who is missing?
pilots. Miss Japan.
In Japan,
Our presenter.
And also Davao.
She's here.
Miss Davao.
Okay.
What is first? So what? 31st.
So, mission. Who did the mission?
John.
Raise your hand. This group.
Father Paulo's group,
The leader.
led by Father John.
So, we, Stella Maris, representing the Catholic Church, serve, protect, promote, and uphold the needs and welfare of the people of the sea and their families for their integral human development, regardless of race, religious, gender, culture, language, and social status, in partnership and cooperation with government and maritime stakeholders. This group, since you are in 2035, okay, how do you consider this mission?
What's the stuff?
You can just tell me, well, how do you feel? I want to see, how do you feel when you read this mission statement created by your colleague in 2022, and now you are in 2035? How do you feel?
It's just like a vehicle to achieve that vision. Means, the way I analyze and see it is just the mission seemingly be like a means to achieve somewhat like a vehicle to arrive on the vision that we have.
Okay, and according to you, there are all the components needed to achieve that one?
Yeah.
In our vision.
Yes.
No, if you read this, you say, okay, the two are connected.
Yeah.
We've achieved it.
No, not you achieved, okay, but is this reflecting this one or not? Or something is missing, or something should be is different? I don't know. I'm asking you. You are the chaplain, not me.
Government agency, like the partnership.
Can you talk to the others instead of talk among yourself? Express, share, please. I beg you. It's supposed to be a brainstorming. I understand that there is no brain at this time, but the day. But okay, they can have for 5 minutes. I'm asking 5 minutes of your time, of your brain. Neurons.
I would say yes.
We achieve.
All the values. As a mission.
Something is missing here. Okay? Okay, I'm telling you. Okay? What? What is missing here?
The right of the seafarers. The right of the seafarers.
No, right of seafarers. Who cares about the right of seafarers? Do they have right? What is missing? Character is missing here. You.
Chaplains?
The chaplains. Where are the chaplains?
Stella Maris.
No, Stella Maris organization is made of persons. Person are you.
So we Stella Maris chaplains.
We are Stella Maris. We are Stella Maris.
No, come here. Here, you are missing, and this speaks this lack. Okay, you are not putting yourself in the game. No, it seems stupid, but it's not. Okay. In Italy, we say carta canta. Paper speaks. And even when we do this nice and easy exercises or job, I'm sorry. Here you are not there. It's not a problem as a mission statement. It's a problem for you now. You don't see yourself engaged in this game. In both, Both chaplains are not mentioned, neither nor. It's an entity. Stella Maris is an entity, okay? Who is driving the Stella Maris? Who is propelling the Stella Maris? They are formally, they are correct. Formally. But they are too formal. In respect of everyone, in this and that. Come on. I give you the possibility to express yourself fully, and you come out with something that you look like this, you know, like hanged in the armchair, in the respect like the government that are taking care of the common. You have to dream more. You have to put yourself. You have to challenge yourself. You have to clearly take position in this story, because out of everything, it's you that is doing the job, not Stella Maris. Stella Maris gives you the container, the framework. And this is the issue, you know. As a group, as a regional group, you need to express exactly yourself, because through what you do, that you can put the things. And opinion is right. Where are the rights? No, it's just okay for the. What is the welfare? I get crazy when I read something like this. What does it mean, welfare? Welfare is another container. You express containers, you know, containers. How do you say? Containers. You know, like boxes, and you put boxes, boxes, boxes. What is inside the box? Not Christ, but really, it's formally is okay. But I want to see something from you. Otherwise, we all remain in our boxes. And we are not sharing, we are not putting ourselves and try to understand and really give to each other what are our failures, what are our successes, our satisfaction. Where are these emotions? There is nothing here, in both. Sorry, but really, come on. You look like in Italian we have these politicians, Domocristiani, you know, those who were very careful to say this, but in respect of this. We forgot the respect of this and this. Come on, but tell me something about yourself. Here we achieve a network in solidarity with the Pope and the bishops. Who cares? Who knows who will be the Pope in 2035, and if they will be a Pope? Ever thought about this? Maybe there won't be any Pope. And bishops. Like, not to offend no one, but who cares? And in partnership government agency, you are not here. You are not here. You are talking about someone else because you are not taking any responsibility for yourself. And you forgot why didn't you list the ICMA, IDF, and all the others?
Stefano, I think we presume that if there is a Stella Maris Center, there is always a chaplain. And then we've been talking earlier about the problem with the bishops and without connectivity.
You said, you presume. Don't be so arrogant to presume. This is not for us, it's for someone else, you know, it's for you, I mean, it's for the world. And you presume that in the center, why should be a poor chaplain? And why not someone else? And why not a psychologist or a right activist or advocator, etc.? Why you presume that you are there? Because to me, you are not there.
Because the conference is the Vatican and the CBCP is somehow involved themselves, or they take away from the individual or from the lay, because as mentioned by Father Bruno, it started with as a lay organization and then it was taken by the church.
And maybe go back.
And if it's not a Stella Maris, it'll be a mission to seafarers. And what do we want? Mission to seafarers to take every port, or Stella Maris? My dream in 2035, which I've been reminded I probably won't be here, is that there is a Stella Maris in the because I'm following the
Sorry. Your dream is?
Well, it's not a dream because we've achieved that.
Okay.
In 2035, looking back, we've achieved a Stella Maris cabin or centre in every port. It doesn't have to be manned, but every seafarer can have access to that centre, and every piece of equipment and prayer card will be Stella Maris. But it will be open to every other denomination to come into that centre and use that centre, because it's a Stella Maris centre. Praise the Lord.
Please.
And also, we are thinking that now, 2022, the continuity of our programs and activities, so 2035, so we presume that we achieve what we have written.
Yes, you presume. But I would like to see the flesh and the blood. And you, again, really, no, I'm not joking. The issue here is that you are not putting yourself in the middle.
On the contrary, we are actually putting ourselves. No, for me, it is your impression.
Stay with me, because I trust that you are putting yourself here. But
Otherwise, you're not here.
If someone enters this room and read this, say, okay, there is the institution. There is the institution. But you are not there. Okay. Technically speaking, follow me. Technically speaking, for the game for the work that we are doing, you are not there. You are invisible. That is can be a posture, and I understand. Be careful. It's not that I don't understand. I can understand the posture on. We are not. It's not being shy, but we respect and we sacrifice ourselves because we are not. We sacrifice our vanity, okay, for the sake of the organization, and we defend the organization. You can even tell me this, and I can even buy. Okay, but the soul of Stella Maris are the poor chaplains. Understand me? I want to see you in this picture. I want to see your face in this picture. Don't put always. Sorry.
Yeah. It's probably because that's why in both reports we placed we. Probably we already embodied that we are Stella Maris. In Tagalog, in Filipino, isip may-ari. We see ourselves already there. But I also understand, Stefano, that because by that time, probably, we will not be around, but people who will read those mission and vision of ours, they will right away understand, yes, who is this we? Stella Maris, who is this Stella Maris? But he wanted us to really write down as chaplains, and yes, so that whoever reads it, they will not, who are these people? I don't understand, but they could easily understand our mission and vision. That's how I see it.
if I can follow, it can also be a cultural difference in presenting who we are, rather than just a kind of a, we can, because when we say about we are represented we.
Yes.
Because
All
we
of
don't
us
put we
here.
there if it's only Stella Maris, doing that, but we put the word we, without having to say
Of course.
chaplain.
You are a good negotiator. I appreciate that.
Maybe we can say we, the chaplains,
Yes.
volunteers of Stella Maris now.
It's not that.
Nobody. Okay.
Of course, it's we, of course, it's the Romanes, etc. What I'm saying is that the two are too institutional. Okay?
Okay.
Look at there. Okay? You are doing a lot of things. Okay? For instance, the story of the rights. Okay? Me, if you ask me, in 2035, my dream is that all the workers, in this case seafarers and fishers, are say respected and are not. I mean, all the abuses has been eradicated. Okay, because it's what you are doing. Here, what you saw, this you put the center, Stella Maris center, but you don't tell me what is inside. And my dear Doug, it's not enough. You have to tell me what is inside, because otherwise the people say, who said, you were saying yesterday, Stella Maris, today, before, you were saying, we are not giving anything, Stella Maris, thank you very much, we are supporting. Of course, because if you communicate like this, who you are, I'm sorry guys, you are not convincing anyone. You have to put yourself and say, we are defending you until the death. We are our death. We will stay with you everywhere.
So you mean that our Stella Maris is losing our goal, or our objective or aim and objective? The step?
What I'm saying is that you put whatever you are doing there, and I'm sure that you are really working a lot. Okay? We are talking about burnout. We are talking about who said the bishop that is charging you with tasks and tasks and tasks. Okay? And you are doing, and you are resilient, and you are enduring. Okay? But in this, when I ask you to represent what I said, for whom, how, and why, and you come out with the box that is Stella Maris, presuming that everyone knows what is inside the box of Stella Maris, presuming that, or taking for granted that everyone knows what Stella Maris does. Well, I'm sorry, no one knows. Trust me. Until they meet you as poor chaplains, and you with your body and soul hug, talk, listen, go together, buy, all the things that you do, call. Emma, understand now what I'm saying? And you decided to put the Stella Maris. Technically speaking, in some exercises, you are defending yourself. Okay, you are detaching again a bit. Okay, you are not taking the how to say stance. Taking ownership. Okay, we are working here. It's not again. Don't take me wrong. Just to reflect, because sometimes we repeat the same mistake. So if tomorrow you go in some place to talk with someone, you have to be clear. If you are meeting the judge that is the court or the commitment of the Committee of Civil Rights, You can't say, but we are Stella Maris. Like, let's say, and what? Because maybe here you are known, but Stella Maris is not at if you go in my place, that there is Stella Maris, I dare you, go around and ask what is Stella Maris. I say, it's a bar, it's a restaurant, it's what?